everyone. Today let's take a sentimental ride down memory lane and dive into the hidden secrets of the Defunct rides at Dollywood. You know, some of them are really missed, but they definitely created memories we'll cherish forever. First, I want to mention several rides that have come and gone, and then others that have had significant changes. Do you remember Country Fair Falls? This oldie was a holdover from the pre-Dollywood days, but unfortunately closed in 2004. The ride was created for the 1964 World's Fair in New York, and it found its way to Pigeon Forge when the park was still Gold Rush Junction, opening in 1969. It was a basic log flume that banged along the water path until being carried up by the incline. It was a lot of suspense for one thrilling drop with a big cooling splash of water. I absolutely loved this ride as a young kid. When they removed the log flume ride, it made room for at least 6 kiddie rides in the Country Fair section. Apparently, the park felt that the Country Fair Falls outlived its usefulness with Daredevil Falls and Mountain Slidewinder. And speaking of Mountain Slidewinder, it is gone too. Some of you may remember the Mountain Slidewinder. It was essentially a long water slide with a multi-seat toboggan. It held its ground for 32 years before retiring in 2019. Whispers say that upkeep costs played a role, but let's not forget the uphill trek to get to it. But I seriously enjoyed that walk because it felt as if I were leaving a theme park and headed on a hike in the woods, and then got the reward of riding down. And thinking of woods and trees, there was a ride named Timber Tower, and it was an attention-grabbing giant in 2006. This ride lifted a 40-person circular gondola up where riders would face outward 60 feet in the air. Timber Tower would rotate and then rock back and forth, and it felt like you were being axed by a lumberjack. However, safety concerns led to its eventual replacement by what we have today, Dropline, which is an up and down drop tower. As Timber Tower offered riders a thrilling sensation of being axed by a lumberjack, River Battle provided a water-themed experience. River Battle was an interactive boat ride that opened in 2008 but closed in 2017. Basically, it was a splash battle as riders would get on one of 8 boats that would slowly move along a course. Riders would shoot at other boats and passengers and at more than 100 targets along the ride. It was located in the Wilderness Pass section, and the year it opened was also when they expanded the walkway known as Wilderness Pass to provide a direct route between Craftsman's Valley and Timber Canyon. Since I mentioned River Battle, which had some cute critters, that makes me think of the magical Dreamland Forest, which existed from 2000 to 2010. It was a whimsical 15,000 square foot interactive children's area. Dreamland Forest featured America's largest interactive treehouse with tons of gadgets that were found throughout that area where kids could play among the treetops. There was a little wet area of Bullfrog Creek and a beehive target area. And if you think about it, this may have been the beginning part or the beginning evolution of Wildwood Grove that we have today. Now let's talk about the beloved flooded mine. Now if you're a Dollywood veteran, you might remember the days when this float through dark ride sent you drifting through a mysterious mine with surprises at every turn. It depicted prisoners working in and trying to escape from a mine that was flooding. So when I rode this as a kid, I would see the canaries swinging and dying, and the prisoners in a whirlpool looking like they're drowning. And it did make me feel eerie inside.
Welcome to the mining, welcome to the toil, welcome to the trouble. 'neath the earth and soil. Sweat a little water, you'll sweat a little mud, and you might get out if the mine don't.
So the flooded mine closed its doors in 1997, which gave room for Daredevil Falls. But did you know that the Blazing Fury ride, which is still kicking, actually gives tribute to the flooded mine and the Silver Dollar City's legacy? Now, I don't want to get too sidetracked right now, but Blazing Fury was really Dollywood's first roller coaster, an inside one, of course. Now, I promise to do a video just on the Blazing Fury in more detail, but for now, I just want to point out that you can look for nods to the flooded mine when you go ride the Blazing Fury today. The smaller details like the tombstones are hard to see as you pass them in the dark, but still look for the tallest headstone that honors Charlie Turner, killed by flooded mine. Also, there's a boarded up sign that reads, "Flooded mine, danger, keep out." Now, since I mentioned the first coaster at Dollywood being the Blazing Fury, that brings me to the park's second and only outdoor coaster at the time in 1989, and that is Thunder Express. Thunder Express was once a wild runaway mine train coaster that made its final run in 1998. But hey, the spirit lives on in the Tennessee Tornado. In fact, the Tornado track actually follows some of the Thunder Express's old twists and turns. Another interesting tidbit is that since 2002, some of the former Thunder Express track is in operation at Magic Springs Theme and Water Park in Hot Springs, Arkansas, under the name Big Bad John. Alright, keeping with the Thunder theme, Thunder Road comes to mind. It was a motion ride that came onto the scene in 1996 that was inspired by the classic film called Thunder Road, and it was all about moonshine. At that time, the ride cost about $5 million to create and was also the largest turbo ride action-adventure ride of its time. Guests would sit in moving seats that would match up with the wild adventure happening on the screen. It was a crazy moonshine car chase with an explosive ending. Anyway, it was replaced in 2002 with a sightseeing adventure at the Smoky Mountains, and then that eventually faded and transformed into the Dreamsong Theater, home of the My People show. This area in Adventures in Imagination is currently undergoing construction and changes are taking place, so be on the lookout for a new facelift of this theater. And speaking of a change, you know what they say, the only constant is change. Some of these defunct rides haven't been forgotten, and who knows, maybe one day we'll see a glimpse of their magical return in some new, unexpected form. But I'd really like to know if you remember any of these rides, and which were your favorites, or even some others that I didn't mention. Let us know in the comments. And if you have any old photos, please share with us. Thanks for joining me on this ride through time, and until next time, keep the memories alive and the roller coasters rolling. Make a great journey.